All right, here we go again. The stand down tactics are in full effect. If you've watched any of the bullshit going on at the World Economic Forum or at Davos, here we go again. Operation Trust the Plan. They are saying the things that the masses need to hear in order to feel like the good guys in really expensive suits are on their side. And these people know exactly what the sentiment of the country is, the sentiment of the West, and they are saying the things that need to be said. And it's gonna fucking work, because I've already had people in my circle talk about how great it is that the Secretary of Commerce or Trump or Pete Hegseth or whoever the fuck, right? You name the puppet, you name the degenerate, you name the Satanist, you name the pedophile, doesn't, you name them, and they're saying things that people want to hear. Which this is the whole reason why they used that piece of shit Trump to enact all of the things that he's enacted. Father of the vaccine, warp speed, taking Venezuela, talking about taking Greenland. They needed that character, that megalomaniac, that the way that he talks in order for people to feel that somebody cares, right? This is what they do. 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. So they put in somebody that everybody hates, they bring in somebody everybody loves, and they walk it back a little bit, and then, before you know it, we're all in a totalitarian, dystopian fucking surveillance state while applauding the people that are putting us in it. And it's just unbelievable to me that it's happening again. Everything that these people are talking about, we need to save Western civilization, we need to focus on the immigrants, we need to revisit the CDC, we need to revisit the food pyramid, all the stuff that people want to hear, because they very much take stock of what's talked about online and the sentiment of people. And they know that we are being poisoned through the allopathic medicine system. They know that we know that the food in this country is just poison, pure poison, that even the healthy food, which is outrageously priced, is sprayed with horrible chemicals. They know these things, and they know that they need to address them in order to calm the masses, right? We got to get these people calmed down. So here we are. I mean, you look at I got to walk through this narrow little area here, but you look at the propaganda that's taking place from the Department of State and Homeland Security, and they're using the blue-eyed, blonde hair families to save America propaganda, right? And they're just trying to speak to the sentiment that they know that is growing. All the while, they are marching. I mean, we are talking about taking another fucking country. We are not, this piece of shit is, taking Greenland. Why? Oh, Russia, China, the boogeyman. Russia, China. We just walked into another country, stole their president, his wife, and took control of the oil. We live in utter lawlessness. Utter lawlessness. And that's what's so unfortunate, is that people believe that this shit's okay because they like the person doing it. Now, obviously, I take no stock in man's law at all. There's God's law, there's natural law. But even the pretense of man's law, we don't have. It's just and people are applauding it. People are applauding it. It's incredible. You think of the stuff Elon Musk is saying about, oh, there's no need to save money or to really work because we'll have UBI for everyone. Talked about this in the last video. We're not ready for UBI. Human beings are not ready for that. Where I am right now, they are building development after development, stack and pack after stack and pack. Who the fuck can afford these houses, and who is moving here? There are no jobs. There are no jobs, so who is going to live here? They have data centers outside in the desert here, and most of those are just good. They're destroying the resources around it. And then you think about the AI and the machines that are running these places, all of the warehouses. So it's just a very fucking crazy time. And the stand down tactics are being pushed, and they're going to work. You know, there's a reason why they're having ICE behaving so brutally. First off, ICE trained with the IDF. That's all you need to know. The most satanic, torturous, demonic, pedophilic pieces of shit on earth, the IDF. They thrive off of pain. They thrive off of torture. They sodomize people to death with fucking batons and sticks. And I mean, they are the most sadistic people on the planet. And that's who ICE trains with. That's who a lot of our police force trains with. But there's a reason why it's so brutal. It's because they want people to think that, one, we're getting rid of all of the criminal, illegal aliens. Two, they want people to have the fear that, or they want to normalize this type of brutality done by agents of the state, whether it's ICE or the police or the FBI or the CIA or the blue hats that will be here one day. If they can't get this country completely the way they want it, they'll just bring in troops, foreign troops, UN troops or whatever, NATO troops, the blue hats. But they want that type of brutality normalized, killing people on camera, putting their knees on their neck on camera. All of this is by design. And also it divides the country like no other, because sadly, oikophobia is real, and there are a lot of men and women, a lot of women, that hate who they are. They hate their people. They hate the men of their culture, of their race, of their country, of their nation, whatever you want to use. And they advocate for the absolute invasion of foreign cultures. And then on the other side of that, you have those that want their country back. And so the division is just spread deeper and deeper and deeper. We live in some crazy ass times. I tell you what you're seeing in Minnesota, I mean, we had Somalians stealing, the numbers are what, around $700 million that they stole, and people are defending them. In a just and moral world, every single one would be apprehended, rounded up, and sent home because they pose a threat to the people of Minnesota. Imagine what good that money could have done for the schools, for the parks, for the roads, for the infrastructure, for whatever. $700 million. But nope, it gets stolen. Nobody gives a shit. TSA knows about it. Politicians know about it. And nobody gives a shit. Nobody gets held accountable. There's no accountability for anything. We live in utter lawlessness. Everything that our government does is against the Bill of Rights. It spits in the face of the Bill of Rights. I don't give a shit about the Constitution. That piece of paper names me and you and everyone that we love a slave. 13th Amendment. You are subject to. A subject is a slave. The first 10 articles is where we get our freedom from. That is the Bill of Rights. There's a reason why it's not taught, and this is the reason why it's not understood, is because if we actually lived by that, we would be free. And people applaud all of the lawlessness. They applaud the chaos. The football game's on. We can't take time to actually care about what's going on. It's amazing to me that people still love this character. He's not really Donald Trump. He's not from the Trump family. He's not who he says he is. His family is not the people they say they are. You can look into this, and within a couple hours of research, you'll find out that he is absolutely not who he says he is. None of these people are. None of them are. But people cheer them on, and they support him, and they praise him, just like they did Charlie Kirk and Elon Musk and all of these people. They're out here to save us. Kennedy's out here changing things with the CDC and the food pyramid, and everybody wants to applaud this. These people steal on a daily basis. These people are pedophiles, known pedophiles. Either they themselves are or they associate with pedophiles. Epstein was not the lead mastermind behind all of that. Trump was very much involved in it. The Clintons are very much involved in it. Obamas are very much involved in it. Oprah Winfrey very much involved in it. Ellen DeGeneres very much involved. Just go down the line. These people are just child sacrificing, child trafficking, pedophilic pieces of shit. And people applaud them. They celebrate them. They're Daddy Trump. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. All the while, Western civilization is on its deathbed. It really is. It's on its deathbed. People supporting criminals, people crying because criminals are being taken out of their communities, people supporting violence, people supporting ghetto thug culture. I mean, the women, the young women of Western civilization have been absolutely destroyed. I would venture to say 80% are just lost without hope. Maybe one day, hopefully, they'll regain their heart and their spirit. But you look in the eyes, you watch the way they dress, you watch the way they act, you watch the way they behave, you look at the numbers of the antidepressants, the abortions, the body counts. It's just, they're lost. They have been stolen, and it's because they've grown up on phones. They've grown up on ghetto thug culture. They've been taught to hate their own civilization, their own people, their father, their grandfather, their ancestors. They've been taught to hate all of that. And so by default, they go in the opposite direction and they ruin their life. I see it every fucking day. Every day I see it. We all see it. Stuff that never existed when we were kids now is commonplace. That doesn't happen naturally. That happens due to propaganda and brainwashing. People don't change so drastically, so quickly. It just doesn't happen. But anyway, the whole point of this video is the stand down tactics. You know, in the early 1900s with the Bolshevik Revolution, what was it? Trust the plan. You know, QAnon, trust the plan. Stand down. Christianity was hijacked. The Council of Nicaea, 325 or 318, and then they took out the Book of Enoch. They took out the apocryphal texts, you know. They took these out, the real truth of what was going on back then. They edited it, rewrote it, edited it, rewrote it, edited it, rewrote it, and then you give the masses a stand-down manual. Just believe in something, and you will be okay. You don't need to stop evil. You don't need to confront evil. You don't need to talk about evil. Just believe in something, and you're good. You don't need to worry about it, which that's not the way that works. Action is required, verbal or physical. You know, if you want a house, you have to work for it. If you want to build a strong body, you have to work for it. If you want to create a sculpture, you have to work for it. If you want anything in life, you have to work for it. You think that you're just going to go and disappear into some heavenly realm because you believed in something and you didn't even work for it. And at the same time that you believe in this book that was given to you to believe in, you actually support evil? You support evil? You vote for evil? Okay, sure. I mean, the Christian Zionists, Jesus Christ. I mean, they tell you to your face that they hate you. They tell you to your face that your God, your Messiah, your Lord and Savior is burning in excrement, is a false God, is a piece of shit, and you smile in their face. They tell you that you're not worthy, that you are goyim, that you are soulless cattle, and you smile back in their face while they hate you. It's the same as the people on the left, right? And this is not to say that I believe in any of the left-right dialectic, the left-right paradigm. I am an absolute anti-state anarchist, because that is the only moral position, is voluntary interaction in the moral raising of children with the non-aggression principle and the self-defense principle. But you look at all those on the left, and the people that they are trying to save and they're trying to support hate them. They openly say, "We hate you. We are stealing from you. We are taking your daughters." They hate you. They tell you that they hate you, and yet you still try to save them. That is called lunacy. That is called delusion. That is called you do not live in fucking reality, and you are destroying the reality for everybody else, because you think that you're some virtuous savior when the people you're trying to save want your culture erased from this, and your race erased from this realm. It's fucking pathetic and disgusting. How many videos need to come out? And only a few ever make it to the mainstream, but if you go on to the outskirts of the internet, you can see CCTV footage or cell phone footage all day, every day of violence in one direction. sucker punches, kicks to the face, jumpings, all day, every day. You can watch it. You can see it all day. That is the reality. And yet, the people on the left are trying to save these same people that violate them and beat them and steal from them every fucking day. It's incredible to me. It really is. It really is, you know. Having watched the world change so much in the last 6 years, I can't even imagine what the end of 2026 will be like. I just can't. How much of AGI will they roll out? How many more issues will they try to get going with Iran? You know, fucking Israel the other day who just bombed Lebanon in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 3:40, or 4 o'clock in the morning. No fucking reason. Let's just bomb some innocent civilians. Why? Because we can. Why? Because no one will ever stand up to us because we own every fucking Western government. Man, it's a sick fucking world. That video of Trump talking to all the Israeli lawmakers, talking about how good the weapons are and selling them to Bibi and how good that they use them and that they use war to create peace. It's a fucking, and he gets a standing applause, standing ovation for selling weapons of just mega death. And you get a standing ovation for that. I just wonder how we got here. You know? That's the main thing. When you start to see everything that's going on and you know, your circle dwindles because you don't want to be around those that support this stuff, and you just spend a lot of time in nature and you just think, it's like, and the more you read, the more you research, and there's still no clear answers to how we got here. You know, you can look at all the myths and the legends, and you can look at just the ancient historical texts, and it's like, how did we get here? How did human beings become this? To where you could have two people standing side by side, raised with the same propaganda, the same bullshit diet, the same chemtrails, the same everything, and that one sees through it and the other one falls for every last bit of it. How does that happen? One has righteous indignation and one supports the state, loves the government, loves voting, loves the police, loves the military, loves it all. But yet they we all grow up under the same umbrella of bullshit, the same umbrella of propaganda. That's one of my, you know, it's one of the most mysterious and one of my favorite things to ponder is, how does that happen? Is it purely a spiritual thing, that our certain spirits have been here longer, or they have done their learning and done their questioning, and so that you get passed down knowledge through each incarnation? I don't know. Nobody knows, but it is interesting. But I do have to wonder how we got to this point. Because the people that are doing this to us, they're not people, they're not human beings. They're fucking disgusting, child sacrificing, pedophilic, Satanist, whatever word, you know. There are no words for these fucking, the scum. But they're not us, right? So they wouldn't poison themselves with the chemtrails. They wouldn't be shooting these toxins into the air. They wouldn't be poisoning the air, food, and water if it affected them. Why would they do that? Why would anybody poison themselves? So that must not affect them the way that it does everybody else. So, but you know, with 2026, it's January's already, January's coming to a close, and we're going to be well on our way. We'll see. More invasions, more bullshit with Iran. You know, is Trump really going to just go and take Greenland? Is that going to be allowed? You know what he said? He said, we would really like to work with Greenland and we would be very grateful. You can say yes and we'd be very grateful. Or you could say no and we will remember. Like, who talks like this? It's not your fucking country, dude. You can't just walk around and point at things and say, yeah, I want that. But they do, because we allow it. As a people, collectively, we allow it. We think that these people, these entities, have powers and rights that we don't have. And it's, to me, that's one of the most disgusting things of all, is that people believe that. People believe that the police and the military and politicians have rights and special privileges and powers that we don't have. No, we are all equal. We all have the same right, and it is only one right, and that is the right to be left alone. The rest, we have to voluntarily interact on a moral basis and barter and trade and morally raise our young, and the petty squabbles that do come about between people, crimes of passion, that type of shit, then you deal with that accordingly. You deal with the small town criminals accordingly. You don't need the long arm of the law involved in your life. You don't need an ever-growing Leviathan, a monstrous state surveillance grid in our lives. We don't need it. That is the sign of an irresponsible people. We don't need it. It is not the moral way to live. It is not a spiritual way to live. Man. Interesting times. But I do, and you gotta love the desperate attempts at appealing to the sentiment that's growing. We have to save Western civilization. We have to bring back businesses to the U.S. We have to do this. We have to do that. Get the fuck out of here. These are the same people that poison you. These are the same people that steal and raise land prices. These are the same people that don't allow you to own a home because you have to pay property taxes. These are the same people that just pass law after law after law. And that, I got a little spider on my camera here. And that do everything in their power to steal freedom. But yeah, they really care about Western civilization. They're the ones that fucking destroyed it. They really care, though. They mean it this time, They really, they mean it. They are just concerned with the loss of homogenous societies in the West. They're concerned with the loss of small businesses and family farms. They're dying to bring all that back, that level of just comfort and freedom and security. They really want us all to live in that beautiful way of life. Get the fuck out of here. It's crazy to me. And the older I get, and I'm sure it's the same for any of you that see this, the older I get, the less I have any interest in dealing with the masses. It's hard. It's hard, but I just, spend time in nature and try to talk to as many people as possible, but I don't know. I don't think it's black-pilled. I think it's just being realistic. Because the things are going to have to get a lot worse for people to actually care, because they still don't care. They care on the surface, but, you have things that go on at the World Economic Forum where they say all this, these talismanic words and the flowery language, and people, oh man, so great. We have people on our side. It's just fucking children, adult children. That's all we have. In the West, the masses are just masses of adult men and women with a psychology of lost, helpless children that need mommy and daddy to take care of them. And it's just sad. It really is sad. Man, but it's beautiful here, huh? No chemtrails today. It's crazy because we have crazy storms going around, supposedly. I haven't checked the weather today, but apparently from, Texas to the East Coast, there are supposed to be crazy storms. And here it's cold. My damn hands are freezing. Excuse me. My hands are freezing, but it's sunny and it's nice. But yeah, I'm gonna let it go there because I don't want to ramble. I just wanted to talk about these amazing stand down tactics that they're trying, because they do see the resentment growing and the sentiment that's being spread around online, which is why they want to cut out the internet, digital ID. They don't want you to be on the internet. They don't want you having access to people that are talking about anything like this. And like I just mentioned, I don't know if it's black-pilled or just being realistic, but I do think about the fact that people have been talking about these things their entire lives for many decades, many decades. And you think of the greats and the people that are still doing it today. You think of Eustace Mullins and Myron Fagan and Benjamin Friedman's speech, and you think of Stan Monteith and G. Edward Griffin and all of these people. Max Egan, you got Richie from Boston still making multiple videos a day, Mark Passio, David Icke, Michael Tessarion, all of these people that make this content. And to what avail, you know? Everything has still gone on the way that they wanted. They maybe sometimes have to pull back a little bit, and they don't get to have the timeline that they exactly want. But you have people that have been doing this for 10, 20 years, 30 years, and they've spent their life just talking about these things, trying to warn people. Even on the surface level, you had people, you know, like Ayn Rand talking about stuff in the 50s and the 60s. That's now true. That's now true, what America was turning into. And that what's happening because we focus on the lowest common denominators of society, and that's where we put all our effort in, and we ignore all of the promising, beautiful, strong, aesthetic aspects of society, and we focus on the worst. And that's what we grew, was the worst. I mean, the level of self-esteem amongst the teens and the adults these days it's rock bottom. It doesn't exist. The level of confidence, rock bottom, doesn't exist. Prescription pills. I mean, there's a reason why we see kids turning out, I mean, they're just weaker and weaker every fucking year. Weaker and weaker. But I think about all of these great men and women that have done this their whole lives. And to what avail? I think we're going to go the way that the masses want us to go, and we're going to have to figure it out from there. So it'll be interesting nonetheless. But my camera's about to die here. Might need to change the setting. I think it's on the Pro setting that uses the battery too fast. But I hope wherever you are, as always, that if you have remained human over the years and you have stood on your values and your principles and you live by them and you try to live as a strong man, a strong woman, a living example for those that see you, the younger generations, I am forever grateful for you. And you are loved. Your spirit is loved from afar. Just understand that. Understand that. And that is that. Maybe I'll start talking about some other stuff at some point. But because, you know, I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have, is that we have grown children and they have no confidence, no self-esteem. They're lost in video games, you know, grown fucking men playing Clash of Clans and all this shit, which whatever, you know, you do that stuff every now and then, sure. But if that's what you spent, if you don't know what's going on in the world and you haven't removed yourself from the matrix, so to speak, you don't have the right to be wasting your life away watching sports ball and playing video games. You have work to do. As a man, you have work to do. As a woman, you have work to do. If your whole life is about escapism, you don't have that right, because your ignorance and your willingness to be a slave affects my freedom. It affects all of those that have a similar spirit to me. It affects all of our freedom. And all you're doing is over there playing video games while the world fucking burns and spirituality is destroyed and children are being destroyed. You don't have that right. You don't have the right to steal freedom from others because of your cowardice. So, helping people find that confidence, to understand that they are not their childhood, that they are not victims of their families, and that they can escape that through intense introspection and connection to nature, and getting in the gym and eating healthy and working on their thoughts, their emotions, and their actions. The true trivium. Working on all of these things gives you confidence. Understanding the world gives you confidence. Taking back your responsibility for your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health gives you confidence. And that's what we are losing. I mean, it's not present in society. I was just in a very crowded area earlier having lunch, and the men, damn near, I would say 85% of the men in there were either chubby, overweight, and a few morbidly overweight. One was so big he needed a cane. Shoveling the shit in their faces, you know. You know, they have the hair's not combed, the hair's greasy, hair, you know, dandruff and like animal hair all over their fleeces. It's just not okay. It's not okay. And men did not used to be like this en masse. And now that is the norm. That is the norm. And the same goes for women with the obesity and the septum piercings and the crayon colored hair and the Instagram clone behavior. Got to work on it. It needs to be worked on. And that takes those of us that have pulled ourselves from the matrix and developed or that are trying to walk in selfhood. It takes us talking about these things in an authentic way to help people. So maybe we'll talk about some of that stuff at some point. maybe I'll just, start a different channel under that name, under a different name, and talk about that stuff, because I do have a responsibility to talk about what's going on in the world. We all do. But anyway, till next time, take care of yourself. Have a good weekend, a good week, whatever it is, and keep your head on a swivel. Till next time, never behind.